It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live on WBON TV and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Support your favorite team with apparel from Campus Warehouse and join us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair and Nuevo Vallarta. And now let's go live to your hosts, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. She is Samantha Burford. I am Michael Watkins, and we are live tonight at Madison Central High School. Senior night will be taking place here tonight for the Indians as they take on Evangel Christian out of the
Louisville area,
yeah, out of the Louisville area, and just out of the All-A Classic State Tournament. They were in the semifinals of the All-A Classic State Tournament, losing to Clinton County, who was the eventual runner-up in that state tournament the following day. And I actually got to see this team play on Friday, a really good basketball team. They got a sophomore, Sier Malanga, who is from the Congo. And I'll tell you that story about him later on.
Because I was asking you earlier how to say that name.
He's 6 feet 11 inches tall, and the Indians will take on them tonight.
So we will not have a problem recognizing him.
No, exactly. You'll see him as soon as he sits on the floor.
The height.
The JV game is about to start right now. We are live here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
A few spectators here, so that's exciting.
Well, this isn't a game that I think many people know about because
no, they keep adding.
It was a late ad, obviously. Then Coach Feldhaus trying to get as many games in as he can, coming off a big win over Barron County on Saturday. And this is a good test for his team because you go up against a kid like Malanga who's tall and inside. It kind of gives you a different look than what you might normally see.
We don't always have that inside presence like we used to. So this is going to be a nice test for them tonight.
For Indians fans that remember Isaiah Cozart, this young man will remind you of a young Cozart. When Cozart was a sophomore, not
with
really
all the blocks.
Offensively, polished yet. I think in the game against Clinton County on Friday in the All-A Classic game, he had like 8 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 blocks. So he gets a lot of block shots, doesn't score a ton, but he'll be a really good player. And Kentucky has already been in contact with him, and he's also gotten contact from like Arizona State. I think Virginia Tech was one that had reached out to him. So there's been some bigger schools that have been talking to Malanga. How
exciting is that? Because, you hear of the Reed Shepherds getting in contact, Coach Calipari contacting him, or the Ben Johnsons. Well, we hope, Ben.
Yeah, Ben's going to Bellarmine.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I haven't heard official word that Calipari has been talking to him, but hope.
But listen to this. So we're talking about Kentucky. Reed Shepherd and Malanga, two in-state products. That'd be cool if Calipari could get them to come over there.
And you know what? It would be a nice breath of fresh air for all of us. We would enjoy that because there's so much uproar when Dante Allen doesn't get in or when he does get in. So how great would that be? Because fans love it when he gets in and actually hits all those threes.
Well, Samantha, we do have a lot to talk about today. We want to start the show today. So I think it was Tuesday of last week, the Senate here in Kentucky announced a bill that is going to allow Kentucky high school seniors to come back to school next year.
Yeah, that happened right before a game Tuesday night.
And to basically redo their senior year. And those seniors are also, if they meet the age requirement, allowed to play sports again. So
what do you think about all that?
Okay, here's what I think. I understand it. I don't know necessarily if I agree with it.
Or would you do it?
I understand. And here's what you got to do. You got to put yourself in the kids' shoes. Those kids that have had – for Madison Central especially, when you look at their senior season that has been so weird.
On and off, patterns.
And they've had players missing with quarantine, with injury. Coach Feldhaus got injured. They had a player's father pass away.
Yeah.
It has been such a crazy year for Madison Central that if they could say, hey, guys, let's come back together and run this back one more time, then they'd be hard-pressed. They could come back, and if they brought back some of these guys, like Cole Brown and Braden Ray, they could potentially be a state championship contender. But now I don't know the age requirements of or what the level of that is or what the ages of these kids are. Back in the day, a lot of kids used to be held back to get that extra year of middle school to better prepare them for the high school game.
And then they get that height when they get into high school, too, because boys typically get that height,
Yep.
We look at the difference right here in this JV team compared to what we're going to see.
In the varsity game.
The difference in the size of their bodies is incredible.
So
Every mom knows that.
I don't know what kids would be even allowed to do that here locally, but, let's look at Model, for instance. If Model who doesn't have much down the pipeline as far as experience goes, if they could bring back all their seniors, their entire starting 5 is seniors, if I'm not mistaken. I know
they all come back.
The Perry brothers are Bailey and Fees. If they could bring all those kids back, I mean, John Morgerson might be like, listen, we got a chance to go out there and be a really good basketball team if you bring those guys back. And same thing for Madison Southern. And to me, I was thinking more about Madison Southern football, who last year was so good. And the only player I know of as of right now that's going to play college football was Xavier Stroffman, who was going to go play at EKU, walk on over there. If they said, hey, let's bring back our entire team, I mean, John Clark would have another team that could make another deep run in the postseason. So there's a lot to be figured out. You look at the kids over at Berea. The kids like Jalen Dorsey and Jaden Smith, I mean, their season, they only got to play 5 or 6 games for the most part.
Because of COVID,
plus
and their coaching changes.
Exactly, and then the weather situation. So, for kids like that, they deserve a chance to go back. And it'll be very interesting to see what kids are allowed to do that and what kids choose to do that. But it's an exciting thing. I mean, I understand both sides of it. I've seen a lot of parents who have some younger kids. Well, my kid now doesn't get a chance to.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go there with you.
To play now because he's been on the bench waiting on these seniors to go.
Just think about it. Think if you have a sophomore that's going to move up into that. Coach Feldhouse doesn't ever have a deep bench.
He does. Yes.
He's had to a couple of times this year. He's had
because of COVID stuff.
Yeah, because of COVID.
Let's look at a kid like
Jaden
West. Jaden West, who's a sophomore. He has showed flashes of brilliance.
Right.
He could step into a Cole Brown role next year and be a guy that steps into that scoring option that the Indians haven't really that Cole is filling in right now.
Right. That will be gone.
If Cole is able to come back, then West doesn't get that opportunity. But, again, I think that is a little bit of a selfish thing. I mean, I understand the parents want what's best for their kids.
Right.
So, I don't know. Again, I see both sides of it. To me, I look at it from a sports, covering the sports here. If I get a chance to see another year of Cole Brown and Braden Ray and these seniors, or over at Malo, if I could see another year of the Perry brothers and Ethan Bailey, that would be a very exciting time here. And I would listen here. I don't know the ages of Bryson and his brother Jackson or Ethan Bailey, but those kids, another year of development too. They've shown flashes of brilliance this year themselves. They've had some big games. If they could become more consistent, who knows? Maybe that extra year can help them get a college scholarship.
Into college, right.
So, I mean, there's just a lot to be thought about when you look at this new rule.
But here's the thing. Would they have to go to class?
And
they would.
Yeah.
And, do they really want to do that?
Here's why I think it's as far as the class aspect of it. They haven't been in class for a year. They're just now getting back into class.
Classes.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing as going to school and hanging out with your friends and going to lunch.
But when they're sitting there taking tests, it's the same.
They're having to get up at 8 o'clock too.
Yeah, they don't want to keep taking those tests.
There's a lot to be figured out between now and then. But
unless they love taking tests, there are kids that do.
I was not one of those.
I was not one of those. So.
And here's another thing too. So I was talking to a parent on the phone the other day about this situation, and I asked him. I said, "What do you think about that?" He said, "Well, I wouldn't have done it when I was a senior in high school." And I said, "Okay, I was the same way. When I was a senior in high school, my last month or 2 or 3, I was ready to get out. I was ready to go. I was done with high school. I was ready to go.
My children.
But these kids haven't got to experience that. Their normal senior year of, waking up and, walking through each other in the hallway and going to your locker and getting your books in and out.
Flirting with the girls.
Exactly.
Next
I never did that.
Your locker.
I never did that, Samantha. But, it's just a different time. And these kids, that's why I like this, because they didn't get to experience that. They didn't get the normal senior year festivities that you have.
Right.
And I'm not even sure, is there going to be prom this year? I mean,
they are not having prom, but what they're calling it is a junior-senior event.
Okay.
So it's magical. It's going to be a dinner. At least that is what Madison Central is hosting. So,
again, they don't even get to have prom this year, so bring back prom.
But they wear their tuxedos. They wear their formal gowns.
Okay.
And they're going to a dinner. So it's very formal. It's a picture opportunity. I would say there's music, but I'm not sure that there will be dancing.
Yeah, well, Sherry, listen, if you've
got the beginning phases.
If you have an opinion on this, let us know what you think. So Rodney Connor is asking, can anyone come watch the game now, or is it restricted to family still? So he's talking about the game tonight.
It's family still.
It's still family. There's very limited access now.
There are more tickets available tonight.
There is going to be over at the district tournament next week. I believe there's going to be more tickets available. So if you know somebody that has a player at Madison Central or Southern or Berea or Model and you want to come out and watch some of these games next week, Rodney, you can let them know, and they can probably get you a ticket for the district tournament. I think there's going to be more tickets available for those games. So we'll see what happens. That will be next week. We're a week away from the postseason.
I can't believe it. I mean, at one time, I literally was counting every week how many games have been canceled. Like, oh, okay, how many games are being made up? It's been so complicated, and every Monday we say, but we're not complaining.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting some games in.
We're just thankful to be here. Yeah. We're thankful to get games in.
You know what's crazy, too? I mean, it was around this time last year when everything got
stopped.
Just stopped, right in the middle of it.
It was about a year ago.
And, softball and baseball season is right around the corner. I got something to talk about that, an announcement from the Madison Southern program here in just a moment. But, again, if you have an opinion on this discussion, on the Senate bill that was passed for allowing kids to come back and play sports and have another senior year basically because of the coronavirus and everything that's gone in with that, let us know how you feel about that, and we will share that here on our live stream here on the Jack Burford Sports Show.
About that, for me, it gives them the option.
Yeah,
so you may not want to do it, but you may want to.
That's one thing that I thought about too. Okay, so when I was a senior, I wouldn't have done it. I mean, if I was if everything was the way it was, I wouldn't have done it. But right now, if you say, listen, you get a chance to go back and relive your senior year of high school, sign me up. I got to go play basketball again with some of my best friends, relive the glory days. I mean, that
was is only for seniors. This would not be for juniors.
Nope.
This would not be for freshmen.
Yeah.
So only seniors. So can you imagine? I mean, there'd be kids that, let's say we're at Central, there'd be kids on Coach Feldhaus's team that would not make the team because someone is coming back.
There's got to be a way to,
there's good and bad to look at it both ways.
Exactly. And I feel like for those seniors that missed out on everything, you have to look at it through their eyes.
Yeah.
And, not everybody's going to do it. There are Ben Johnson's going to go play at Bellarmine. He's not coming back to Lexington Catholic to play again. But I just think of it for some of the seasons that some of our kids have had here locally. Madison Central having such a crazy year with everything that's gone on. Madison Southern's had to have quarantine. Model has had to have quarantine. Those two teams are actually in quarantine right now. We'll talk about that in a couple of moments. But
they are.
I think it's just such a tragedy that these kids have not got to experience their normal senior year. If it is an option for them to come back and redo their senior year,
you say do it.
I think they should do it. And listen, I'm being biased too as a sports fan of these kids. And again, if I get another year of Cole Brown and Braden Ray at Madison Central to run it back with a team that was a top 25 team preseason, and to have you're going to rub that in on me because I said he was a senior earlier on.
And I told you he wasn't.
But you even look at Model. I mean, I've really enjoyed. We've done a lot of Model games this year. I've really enjoyed getting to watch the Perry brothers and Ethan Bailey. I mean, if they get another year of experience as well. I mean, the Berea kids who haven't – that's what you got to remember. Everything that those kids have lost this year, you said there's not going to be a prom.
Girls.
Yeah, Berea girls. I mean, they would. Well, the thing about Berea girls is they're bringing everybody back anyway.
Yeah.
They don't lose anybody.
That is true.
A couple of girls on their bench.
Because I was just sitting here thinking how great would their team be.
Well, Madison Southern, I know that there's a couple of girls there that are going to go play.
Samantha
Cornelison and Parks. They've already. I mean, they're going to go play college basketball somewhere, but maybe they want to come back and.
Why would you though?
Okay.
If you're an athlete and you've got a collegiate athletic scholarship somewhere.
Yeah.
You're not coming.
Well, what if you could get a bigger scholarship? Or in the case of Samantha Cornelison, had it been a normal year this year, Samantha Cornelison would have ended up as the all-time leading scorer at Madison Southern. Because of the year that it was, she was not able to do that. She is going to end up a little bit short because of how many games they were able to play. But again, in a normal year, if you're able to go out there and play your normal 25 to 30 game schedule, then Cornelison probably surpasses Brianna Lenham as the all-time leading scorer at Southern.
Who ended up at Berea.
Yep. So
now, okay, but now the philosopher in me, I hate that all this has happened. Nothing has been normal, especially for these student athletes.
Yeah.
But then the other aspect of me, the parent in me, is it's a life lesson to teach our children that nothing is in life is a guarantee.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing.
I think
and
it's
it
a double-edged sword.
Definite hard lesson to learn. Because we're missing out on the fun
you can
stuff.
say it's life. You got to live with it. But you can also say, okay, here's an option for you. Do you want to do this? And then try to find a way to make it happen. Yeah.
Now you get to add, do you want to do it again?
I will be, again, very interested to see who elects to do that.
Me too.
And we are excited about it because, listen, I do believe that some of our kids will choose to come back.
Oh, I can't wait.
And
again,
as
soon as you hear, you got to let me know because you always hear this stuff before me. So you got to dial me up.
Listen, I get a lot. My phone does not stop ringing. Text messages or phone calls
now,
or Facebook messages.
sometimes I do hear things before you, and I'll text you. But a lot of times I text you, I feel like with Scoop, and you're like, oh, yeah,
I did that 2 weeks ago, Sam. What are you talking about?
Not 2 weeks. That's not true.
We appreciate you folks hanging out with us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. We are, as always, again, presented by Jack Burford Chevrolet. Those new 2021 Chevrolets still coming in. And don't forget about the all-new Chevy Bolt. If you are looking to save some money on gas, they've got a great Chevy Bolt for you over at Jack Burford Chevrolet. All kinds of different colors. And they've also got those mid to upper-sized SUVs, like you know, they got the Tahoes and the Traverse, they got the Blazers and the Trailblazers.
And the Bolt's coming out with an EUV, so
yeah,
that's
that'll be next year
this,
sometime.
Yep.
So make sure to go over and check out Jack Burford Chevrolet. The staff will take care of you. If you see something on the lot that you want to test drive, let them know. They'll get you set up there. And with COVID still going on, they will do it in a safe manner. I just bought a car from there, a truck from there about 6 months ago, and they will do whatever it takes to make sure that you feel safe, take great care of you over there at Jack Burford Chevrolet on the bypass in Richmond. We also want to give a special shout-out to Galaxy Bowling Center. We've been working with them on some stuff. They've helped us out with some of our local coverage area teams, giving them some little bonus stuff. And we want to give them a special shout-out. We're going to be over there in a couple of weeks doing the sports show from Galaxy Bowling Center. And we're hoping by then that maybe we can get back to some guests being on the show live with us. We've been recording everything, Samantha, for about a year.
That will make me the happiest.
So we'll see if we can get that done here.
That's the part of this job that I do love.
Yeah, I mean,
love getting to watch the athletes, but getting close to them to see their face when you ask them a question, especially if, like, you know, they've got a little brother that bugs them or is better at them.
Yeah, who's better?
Who's better?
Yeah, the sibling rivalry questions.
Yeah, there's nothing
you listen,
more.
we were over at Buffalo Wild Wings every Monday. We always had guests come over.
And food.
And it was literally around this time last year, we had the Madison Central baseball team and the Madison Southern baseball team come over. The next day, everything was put on hold. So we're getting closer to that. We're hoping in a couple of weeks, maybe we get over to Galaxy Bowling Center, we can do that and have some fun with some kids over there at Galaxy.
I've had my shot. I can promise you. You can see the lump.
Yeah, she was showing me her bruise on her arm from the vaccine shot.
The bruise and the lump.
Yeah,
but don't judge me.
But it's for a good cause, right, Samantha?
It is for a great cause, and that is why I'm able to sit next to you today. It's why I'm not wearing a mask. I'm still going to wear a mask when I go interview our coaches out of respect, because the last thing that I would ever want to be responsible for is to, possibly cause harm to one of our coaches or athletes. So,
folks, we appreciate you being with us here on this Monday night. Don't forget, coming up later on, Madison Central Evangel Christian in the game here this evening. It'll be senior night for the Indians basketball program. We'll have all that here for you live tonight on WBON TV. It's time for our first commercial break. When we come back, we did have some games last week as well. Madison Southern and Model faced off. We had the Berea girls in the All-A Classic State Tournament, and we were here on Saturday as Madison Central knocked off Barron County. A lot to recover and
recovery
recap.
After their loss the night before.
It was a big win for the Indians. So we'll talk about that when we come back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills. When you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, Samantha Burford and Michael Watkins here with you folks. Again, if you have an opinion on the senior rule by the Senate that was finally put into, I guess, fruition next week. I don't actually know the
Senate bill number, but
yeah, but it was allowing high school seniors to come back to school an extra year and even be able to play sports. So that's a big rule that was passed last Tuesday. Samantha, speaking of last Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
We were at
McBrayer
Arena. Model and Madison Southern boys and the Model girls knocked off Bergen earlier that day.
You didn't even know where to begin.
It was a very exciting day. So let's start with the girls' game.
Yeah, it was
Candace Wells and her team got a good win, and they are really playing good basketball down the stretch here this season. And a team that had such a great year last year, we look back at some of the highlights of that win. They won their most games in school history last year. And then they got off to such a slow start. They've had to quarantine.
They've had the COVID
And I think that's been the case with everybody. But,
I feel like they've had it. Well, them and Berea girls have had it more so than most.
Well, there was even a breakout in that game when they played each other. There was a big breakout from him. But Model, again, they've just been playing so much better down the stretch here. And Candace Wells has really been getting the best from her team. That win over Bergen allowed them to win their fifth straight game. Was a 54-23 win. Then they turned around and knocked off East Jessamine the following night for their sixth straight win. They lost to Shelby County last week and then knocked off Robertson County 77-35. So they have won 7 of their last 8 games.
That's a very lopsided win, too. I mean,
that's
kind of crazy
77,
numbers.
That's a 42-point win.
Right. That's
I'm not very good at math,
numbers.
but that's 42 points. So
you're good at math.
But, yeah, I mean, it was a 7 of last 8, and they've got 2 more games this week.
But they're ticking on the right time.
Yeah. Exactly. That's when you want to be playing your best ball.
Exactly. We're coming down to district, so perfect time.
So they'll play Estill County tonight and then St. Francis tomorrow as they try to win another couple of games heading into the district tournament. They'll play Madison Central in the first round. And, with both Model and Central both kind of being inconsistent this year.
That's an excellent
If Model can
very inconsistent,
put a good game plan in place, play well, they got a chance to advance to the regional tournament for the first time in a long time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. That game will be next Monday, I believe, March the 15th. So
the 15th.
A week from today, Model and Madison Central in the first round of the 44th District Tournament. But, you look back at that win over Bergen last week, Samantha, 61-40. They get 12 points from Emma Lawson, the 8th grader. Keaton Hall played well. I mean, it was just an all-around, very balanced attack for Model. And when they play well, and they're within their game, they're taking care of the ball. They're not turning it over like they do here in this highlight. But when they're not turning the ball over, then they are a really good basketball team. And Candace Wells knows how to get the most out of them. She knows how to make sure they're out there hustling, playing hard. And if they're not playing hard, she gets them out of the game. Candace was on the practice squad at EKU, and she was a very hard basketball player. Kent Miller told us about that himself. So I think if you look at what this Model girls basketball team has, they are a dangerous team when they're playing well, and winners of 7 out of 8 games is playing pretty well.
Right. They started out that game with Bergen both teams were going up and down the floor, and it was very consistent. And then it just seemed like, especially in
the second quarter, yep. Model put the clamps down on them.
Exactly. Yep. And it just, they never looked back. And from then on out, it was like they had to get the groove going.
Yeah, kind of wake up a little bit. They played on the bigger floor. It was homecoming, so you had the homecoming festivities after the game. So it was a good win for Model. The boys of Model were also in action that night. They took on Madison Southern. The Eagles coming away with a 66-51 win. And last week on the sports show, Samantha, I said that Model would probably be the 4th seed if you look at how the season had played out. Obviously, Berea hasn't got to play many games, but I said that Model would be the 4th seed. After seeing that game, you know, when Fees is playing, when they're playing well, you know, I don't know. We haven't got to see a Model Berea matchup every year. That's always a fun game.
Right.
Now, as of now, that game is scheduled for Friday night. We will be there for that game. But, you know, when Model's playing well and they've got Nate Fees in there, then they are a much better team, and they hung with Southern for quite some time. Then obviously Nate Fees gets a technical foul, got thrown out of the game. A very emotional night for Nate. It was homecoming. He was awarded homecoming queen.
Yeah, he just got homecoming king right before the game.
We even called him King Fees during the broadcast a couple of times, and then he gets thrown out. And I don't know what he said, but the second technical was kind of bogus to me because it was literally in the middle of a play. He thought that a kid went over the back, and it was Brett Ursuline. Probably did. If you look back at that play, Brett did go over the back of Fees. It was not called, and Nate just had something to say about the no call, and the official right there teed him up, second technical out of the ball game. And that was the big turn of events there.
I think they were looking for him.
Yeah.
I think they were expecting him to do something. Too. Whether he said something or not, I was down on the floor, but on the end, ready to go interview Coach Morganson. I never heard him say anything, but I think they maybe saw him move his head, like, you know, with a sigh or a rolling of the eyes. I don't know what he did, but I think they were on the lookout for it and then automatically teed him up because it was very dramatic, the first technical. When the two
when him and Walt Smith kind of got into it,
tied up on the floor.
Yeah.
So that was very dramatic, and everybody was kind of like, you know, I don't want to say pushing and shoving. There wasn't that, but he was standing over him and kind of clinching.
Yeah. Walt was standing underneath him, didn't like how Nate stepped over him, kind of disrespectful there. So Walt had something to say, and the referee stepped in and teed him up. I understand that.
That one was a good call.
The second one was the one I didn't like because an emotional game, a big district game like that, you don't want to lose your big man. Model did, and they paid for it there in the second half. Now, looking back at that game for Madison Southern, Trent DeVries was on fire. The kid had 22 points, knocked down 4 of 7 from the three-point line. When DeVries plays like that, when he has got his game going, when he's knocking down the three-pointers, Madison Southern is a very dangerous team. And on that same night, they were all knocking down threes. He hits 4. They get 2 from Zach Hudson. J. Rose, Braden Hudson, Bannister, Smith, they all knocked down three-pointers that night. And that's what Southern likes to do. They can shoot the three ball. DeVries is obviously their leader in shooting. And when he plays well, and his teammates,
the rest of the team seems to play well.
Exactly. They kind of feed off of him because he's a kid that just transferred in here. And again, Southern doesn't have many seniors that, you know, get a lot of playing time. And the ones that do, you know, they are kids that could come back and take advantage of this rule again. You look at, you know, if Austin Newton can get Trent DeVries to come back, and then you bring in Nate Turner, and then all these young kids get, you know, they've got the experience of their sophomore years.
Especially like the Linville kid.
The Hudson twins, the Linville kid who's been on fire. We'll talk about him in a moment as well. But I think with, you know, this rule could be taken advantage of for Madison Southern as well.
Well, it excites me, not just this game, but the games that they had, which we can talk about. But those two, I'm going to call them the COVID teams.
Well, that's what I think he's calling them.
Is that what he's calling them?
So let's talk about what happened. So after the Model Madison Southern game, a Model player tested positive for coronavirus. I don't think he has had any symptoms. I think he's going to be okay, obviously, but that meant that Model and Southern now had to go into a 10-day quarantine. Their whole teams, basically.
The whole team, okay.
So, with that being said, a lot of games were canceled.
It was just the players that were on the court with them.
I think it was ones that played in the game. The game. So,
So if they sat on the bench and didn't play, they didn't have to
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's right.
Okay,
but
that's what I'm checking.
What Madison Southern did was they had a backup team. And I talked to Coach Newton about that a couple of weeks ago. He actually told me, he said, Mike, if we have an issue like that, I've got some young kids that I'm calling the COVID squad or whatever he's calling them, and they are going to go in and the COVID crew. There you go. The COVID crew is what Terry McKeon says.
All right.
So what they're doing is they got some 8th graders. They got some young guys that don't get a ton of playing time that are playing now in varsity minutes.
Right.
And they got their first win over the weekend against Garrett County, 62-45, and it was a very impressive win. Austin Newton called it his most favorite win he's ever had because of all the
I'm sure the
things surrounding it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the excitement. What is so funny is if anyone follows Austin Newton on social media,
he's
he is
funny.
hilarious in his social media posts. But he posted that he told one of the kids to go in and be for Jake or take over
go
for
get
Jake.
Take Jake out.
Take Jake out. And the kid looked at him and goes, "Who's Jake?" Because they don't know each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
they might know their faces,
that's it. Yeah.
but they don't know their names. And which could be the case for any of our teams when the season starts.
Yeah, that's true. So let's look back at that game over Garrett County. They get 23 points from Kyle Linville, Kaysen Noby with 13, Kenton Webb with 11. They get 5 points from Caden Carwhite, Jackson Chambers with 4, Jake Grant with 4, and Dalen Gambrel Harris had 2 points in that game. So
they shot 51% from the field that game.
Oh, they knocked down 9 3-pointers. I mean, that's your normal Madison Southern team that likes to shoot the 3 ball. They made a bunch of them.
And it was the COVID crew.
Yep, the COVID crew.
Which excites us in thinking what's to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And some of these kids, I got to see them play in the CMSAC Conference Championship games a couple of weeks ago over there at Madison Southern. So it was an impressive win for Austin Newton. He called it his favorite win he's ever had because of the situation that was at hand. But
they lost the game before, right?
Yeah, they lost.
The day before.
It was the Lee's Famous Recipe Classic.
Yeah.
They lost the game before
Pike
to
County
Pike County Central. Yeah, 77-45. So that was their first game together.
Yeah, that's a tough loss. That's a big loss.
So as of right now, Madison Southern does not have any other games scheduled before the district tournament, and it might be safe to do that.
That might be smart.
Yeah, this might be the safest thing to do.
I don't know if he had any scheduled, but
they
it's the
Tate Creek
smartest.
scheduled for tomorrow, but that game's been canceled because of COVID policy.
He's got to get his team healthy.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they weren't the ones sick, but they still have to quarantine. So you can't even practice. I guess they can practice at home.
Yeah, get some shots up, maybe. Yeah. So, I mean, you got to do whatever you can to keep the kids safe.
Hopefully they all have goals out in their backyard because it is 64 degrees today. So, I'm sure Coach Newton wants you to play.
So, that happened last week, and now Madison Southern. No more games this week. They're boys or girls. Both teams are off as they get ready for the district tournament that starts up next Monday.
But they're the only 2 teams that are taking the break.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we'll see if that pays off for them. You know, I know a lot of. And
I was kind of shocked by it.
If you look at, like in the NFL, when teams secure their playoff spot, a lot of them will rest their starters. Sometimes it can come back and kind of bite you in the backside because you come out the next game, you're a little bit rusty, maybe even after a week off. But
I don't want to say weak. They're not weak, but rusty's a great word.
So we'll see if we'll see what happens.
Maybe not
there.
on top of their game.
And for Madison Southern, I mean, they can't really do anything about it. Their boys team can't really help it. They have to quarantine until the 10-day period is over. But
I'm telling you, it was great exposure for like the Kyle Linville.
Kyle Linville.
I mean, he's a name that we'd talked about, but you didn't see him scoring up these kind of points both of these games.
Yeah, Linville's a sophomore.
He had 18 points in the Pike County Central, and then 23.
Yep.
In the Garrett County
game.
So
it's a good win for them and the Eagles.
Numbers for a sophomore.
Knocking off Garrett County. We are going to take another commercial break, folks. Don't forget, coming up tonight, Evangel Christian, fresh off of a game in the semifinals of the All-A Classic State Tournament. They are here in Richmond again to take on the Madison Central Indians.
Could go either way, you know.
They've got a sophomore, 6 feet, 11 inches tall, Sear Malanga. He is here tonight. You'll see him play. Kentucky has been reaching out to him and some other big schools as well. So we'll see him in action here against the Indians. We'll step aside for another commercial break.
For revenge.
And
it could be a revenge game.
Yeah, they lost their last time they played in Richmond. See if they can get a big win here today over the Indians. We'll come right back, folks, on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With the full line of products from Copiadeck, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins here with you, folks. Don't forget about our other great sponsors as well, like the law office of Patrick O'Neill. If you know somebody that needs legal advice on workers' compensation, criminal defense cases, anything like that, make sure to give the law office of Patrick O'Neill a call at 606-666-2990. He is located in Breathitt County, but he serves all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. Give him a call today for a free consultation at 606-666-2990. Speaking of Breathitt County, Samantha, I was up that way over the weekend. Tom and Jamie did the Madison Central game, the win over Barron County. And
we got to start back, though, first with that Garrett County win.
The Garrett County win?
I'm sorry, not Garrett County.
Barron County win.
No, GRC. I knew it started with
the GRC win. Yeah. Well, let's talk about. I just want to talk about the situation over in Breathitt County right now. In Eastern Kentucky itself, there were 2,500 homes that were destroyed because of the flood damage up there in Eastern Kentucky and Breathitt County. A part of that, Estill County was hit hard with it. Owsley County, Lee County, Powell County, all those places underwater. Continue to remember those folks as we go throughout the next few weeks because they lost everything. Like it's one thing to replace some stuff that you got that was damaged by water. A lot of these folks lost their homes, so keep that in mind as we go throughout the next few weeks.
Yeah, the pictures and the videos.
Yeah, very.
It touches you. It grabs you. You're like, and almost all of us know someone in that area.
Exactly. Yeah, my mom and dad are up there. I went up there this past weekend to kind of help them get some things squared away, and took some stuff that was donated from some of our families up there as well. So
the Madison Central dance team held a big fundraiser and gathered diapers, water, clothing, you name, blankets.
Well, Lakin Davidson, who's on the Madison Central dance team, her mom, and Lakin's from there too, her mom teaches up there at a school in Breathitt County that literally just walked in the gym as I said that. But, they are touched by that as well. They live close to the water. I'm not sure if their home was affected, but I know a lot of folks up there that were. We are live here at Madison Central. The Indians today taking on Evangel Christian. They got some big wins last week. A really big win over GRC.
Yeah, see?
It was one of the top 10 teams in the state for a while. GRC.
We've been talking about that matchup, too.
Yeah.
Like, we were excited about this matchup.
And they usually play every year, earlier in the year, but that game earlier had been canceled, so they got it worked out, replayed it. And Jalen Davis knocked down 2 free throws with less than 5 seconds remaining to secure the win for the Indians.
Yeah, it was like 1.2 seconds left.
69-68 was the final. Indians go on the road and get the big win.
It's finally time that they get that over. So many times they come out on the opposite end of that.
That was a season kind of win, like one of those big wins that they always have.
Yes.
You look at their
I think
history.
That's why I'm so excited about it. I want to talk about it.
Central has always had that one win that you talk about, that signature win, if you will, where they beat, Trinity, Louisville Trinity out of Louisville, whether it be Scott County or Covington Catholic or somebody here on their home floor. They get one of those signature wins every year. That GRC game was a kind of a signature win for this team. They've had a lot of chances. They've had Covington Catholic and Lex Cath, and they've had North Laurel twice. that was kind of a
lost some
signature
very close
win.
games.
Yeah. So I think it was a good win for them. Obviously, they lost the next game. But then they come back on Saturday and they knock off Barron County 71-45.
We were here for that game.
Got a big game from Cole Brown once again, 19 points. Davis had 15, 14 for Hardin. So this team's starting to really play well. Samantha, the Indians, they've been flip-flopping wins and losses. They won against Southern, lost against Catholic. They won against Bourbon County, lost against North Laurel. They beat Montgomery County, lost to Covcath. They beat GRC, lost to Pulaski County, and then beat Barron County. So if anything tells you, they might lose this game
and
tonight.
Pulaski County's a good team, too, that you didn't mention.
Yeah, if that
earlier.
trend continues, so they would lose here tonight. And Evangel Christian's a pretty good team, too, even though they are a Class A squad out of Louisville.
And it's difficult to tell when you look them up on KHSAA. They haven't played a massive amount of games like Madison Central or Madison Southern has. Their schedule is very short. Of course, some of those games have been canceled by COVID, but very few. They've had a lot less games. Like most of Central's takes up a whole page.
Yeah.
Theirs doesn't.
Well, and takes up a whole page because you got 10 of them that have been canceled for COVID, and then you have the ones that are still filling in. So.
Yeah, true.
So Madison Central tonight taking on Evangel Christian. We'll have that coverage for you here tonight on WBON TV.
Listen, like you said, this is going to be a good matchup. Not just because they've got the one player, but I looked up the Dawson Black kid too, and he's a three-point shooter. Now, I'm going to just say, they don't all go in.
Yeah.
But the boy likes to shoot.
He does like to shoot. I got to see him again last week.
Yeah.
And Friday they lost to Clinton County in the All-A Classic semifinals. I was doing that game for our buddies over at Prep Spin and got to see this Evangel Christian team in action. They have got a lot of athletes and a lot of guys that like to shoot the basketball. And they'll be a dangerous team here tonight as they take on the Madison Central Indians.
Yeah, the game stats that I looked up, I mean, the kid that you're talking about, he was 75% from the field in that game. That was against Kentucky Country Day.
So we'll see what happens here tonight. We were also over last week in Berea as the Lady Pirates knocked off Owsley County in the second round of the All-A Classic State Tournament, 63-52. The Lady Pirates got a big win there, Samantha, and it was really good to see them play so well. We look back at some of the highlights of that win for Berea. I think what was most impressive was their defense again, and that's what's been their calling card. They've had some big defensive games, and in that game, Chesney Lovins played well, and then Abigail Beard matching up with the best player from Owsley County, the Lynch girl, didn't shut her down, but she made her work for absolutely everything that she got, and it was a big win for Berea last week. They did go on to lose to Walton Verona in the semifinals of the All-A Classic State Tournament.
That was not a good ending.
No, it was a game. Like, I was there for that game as well, and they just never really seemed to get anything going. It was a slow start, and they never could seem to find it.
They didn't even score until the first 10 minutes of the game?
I think they scored like 4 points in the first quarter, and they only scored 18 for the game, and this is a much better team than that. They are a much bigger threat.
Because we have enjoyed watching Berea girls.
Yeah, we have.
They play tough, they're very physical, and they just play with all their heart every single game.
They play very hard. Now, they did get a big win on Saturday, a last-second shot win for the Lady Pirates as Alexis Newman, for the second time this year, hit a game-winning buzzer-beater three-pointer, this time against Leslie County, 59-58. Newman finished with 24 points. She was 6 of 14 from the three-point line. And I think Newman is really what makes this team go. Hal and Step, when they play well, they're a good team. But when Newman is knocking down the three-pointers, they are a much more dangerous basketball team. And against Walton Verona, she couldn't hit a thing. Even against Owsley County and Pineville in the All-A Classic Tournament.
That tells you how good Walton Verona is.
Yeah, Walton Verona
is impressive.
They're
and
impressive.
Then they didn't even end up winning the All-A.
Bethlehem won the All-A.
Right. So that tells you how great those two teams are.
Exactly. So I think if Newman can find the range again like she did earlier on this season, then Berea has a chance. I mean, that Madison Southern Berea game is going to be one of the the best games of the year next Tuesday in the district tournament because it's everything on the line. The seniors from Madison Southern who have a bad taste in their mouth from last year, and they finished off their season this weekend. They're ready to roll. They're going to be paying attention to this district tournament and putting everything that they have into getting ready for that. Berea's got a few more games this week, so
They've
we'll see.
They've always felt like the underdog. Model, Berea.
Yeah.
They always feel
they're the smaller
schools.
Yeah,
exactly.
they're 1A schools.
So they put it all on the line, and it's all or nothing for them. But I'll tell you what was impressive. I think they had 13 steals in that game.
Yeah.
So, that's a big number for a girls' basketball team.
Beard and Lovins really carry them defensively, and we'll be interested to see, when Abigail Beard comes in. I'd say in that matchup with Southern on Tuesday, we'll see Samantha Cornelison matched up with Madison Howe. Howe will probably start out on Cornelison because of her length and her height.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably bring in Beard at some point to take over that matchup. And we'll see what happens next week.
Steph's got to be on her full-time game.
Yeah, and got to have a big game from Steph.
She's got to lead the offense.
And for Southern, Cornelison's got to play well. She did not have a good game in the district tournament last year against Madison Central. They've got to get a good game from her and Lacey Parks if they want to advance and try to win a district title. Now time for our final commercial break, folks. When we come back, the history of the 44th district tournament. We'll look back at some of the matchups. We had somebody ask us a couple of weeks ago, does Madison Central and Southern ever draw each other? Well, we've got the stats on that, and we'll tell you about it when we come back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Hey, why aren't you watching these 30-second walk-arounds?
I'm Michelle. And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop's Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills. When you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
We're back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, live at Madison Central High School, where tonight the Indians taking on Evangel Christian here on senior night. We'll have all that coverage for you coming up here.
JV team is down.
Yeah, by 3 points, a minute 3 remaining in the third quarter. We do have a quick announcement for you. Madison Southern head coach Jay Langfeld sent me this email today. His team is having a fundraiser. It's called the Mad South Baseball Fantasy Batting Practice on March 25th, beginning at 5 p.m. It is $10 per minute, a batting practice scenario. Timeouts are allowed each minute. You have to hit targets to win prizes, collect points to win the grand prize. They have an 8U division, a 12U division, and an adult division, and that is at Madison Southern. I can't hit a baseball.
That makes me happy to hear you say that.
But Jay's got his email address for more information. I'll get that for you here. You can send an email to register at jason@madison.kyschools.us. So that's jason@madison.kyschools.us. And
we can put this up on our social media.
Yep, we'll put that up there for them. It's the fantasy baseball practice March 25th at 5 p.m. They got the target on there. If you hit targets, you can win prizes. Pretty cool thing they're doing there to make some money for the baseball team.
It makes me happy that we're actually
doing things like that again.
Doing in-person things. Now, I'm sure mask will be required, things like that. So
Samantha, last week on the sports show, we had somebody ask us about the history of the 44th District Tournament. And you know how some of these teams square off against one another. How many times has Central drawn Southern? And because, you know, a lot of things is they don't like to draw. So how many times has those two schools actually met up against one another?
Right.
Going back to 1998, this is all Hugh Davis, the stat guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, this isn't from me.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't have time to do this, figure this thing out.
I had to sit here and think who drew each other last year.
Yeah, so Hugh did all this research, figured it all out.
I was right, though.
Since 1998, Central and Southern played in 2000, 2001, 2006, 2007, 2015, and 2020. So 6 times since 1998 has Madison Central and Madison Southern had to face off in the first round of the 44th District Tournament. Now, back in 2011 through 2013, we had a span where the same two teams drew each other. It was Central and Berea and Model and Southern. So looking back at some of the history there, Samantha, of just this district tournament, last year it was Central Southern, Model Berea. This year it's Central, Model, Berea, Southern in the first round of the district tournament.
Which, if you had to ask people, that's probably how they'd like it.
The draw?
The draw.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably... I mean, Berea and Model would prefer to draw each other, obviously.
They would, yes.
But Central and Southern they like being the 1 and the 2, or 1A, if you will. So that
I guess
tournament,
it's whichever coach you ask.
Will start on the 15th. That's next Monday. Model and Madison Central. The girls will play at 5:30. The boys will play at 8. And then on Tuesday of next week, Berea and Madison Southern will play. The girls at 5:30, the boys at 8. And then on Friday, the 19th, the championships, the girls at 5:30 and the boys at 8. That's all next week at McBrayer Arena on the campus of EKU. We will be there live for every single game next week for that 44th District Tournament. Should be fun. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, Samantha.
It's going to be fun. But we do get a few days off. Well, you don't really.
I never get a day off. Never get a day off. That keeps me busy and out of trouble, though, so I appreciate that. But we appreciate you all tuning us in here tonight on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. We're going to end the show a little bit early today because we got that game coming up. We're going to get everything set up and get ready for it. And
it's a one-point game now.
The senior night festivities coming up here as well in just a few moments. This live stream will end. We will come back here for the game itself. It's Madison Central and Evangel Christian. Once again, a special thank you to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond, Bishop's Small Engine Repair. It's starting to warm up, Samantha. Got to get that mower ready for spring.
That's right.
And the law office of Patrick O'Neill.
My husband mowed yesterday. Now,
hang on a second.
It wasn't like he didn't really.
You did not get up there and mow the grass for that man. He works hard every single day, and you won't even mow the grass for him.
No, I won't.
That's ridiculous.
That's his job.
John,
I'll talk to her.
I'll talk to her. Don't worry about it. I got you, John.
I'm not. They're all laughing at you. But just make sure everybody knows, you said it, this feed will end. We're going to start another feed. You can also watch some of our videos that I will be taking. Cheerleaders, dance teams, senior night activities for Madison Central.
Follow us on Twitter. Yep, the @WBON TV Sports. Follow Samantha on there, and we will have all kinds of videos and pictures of this senior night festivities coming up later on tonight. So this broadcast will end. We'll come back here in about 15 minutes or so for the game tonight between Madison Central and Evangel Christian.
There's going to be a good crowd. Look, there's already lots of people here.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought they were here for us.
Hanging out with us here, folks, on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.